Really?
Have a moment of silence before we call the meeting to order, please. Thank you. Call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Give a roll call, please.
Commissioner Angie?
Present.
Commissioner Beeden?
Present.
Commissioner Trello?
Present.
Commissioner Felix?
Here.
Commissioner Rushing? Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Here.
Chairperson Samasco?
Present. Item 4, are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on to approval of the agenda. May we have a motion, please? Oh, we're moving closed session. We need a motion on that then, okay.
So I'll make a motion to remove closed session from the agenda. Support.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? I believe those have to be a voice vote to go into a closed session. We need a voice vote to take it off or no? Voice vote's fine. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The item 6, previous minutes of previous meetings.
Yes, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve and file the minutes of the February 20th, 25 workshop, the February 20th, 25 commission meeting, the February 26th, 25 special meeting, the February 26th, 25 workshop, and the March 6th, 25 standing committee meetings.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 7, are there proclamations tonight by anyone? No? We have a motion on the consent agenda.
This time I make a motion to approve items 8A through 8C on the consent agenda.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion on those items? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Do we have any reports of standing or special committees? So start, Dave, do you have anything for us tonight?
I do. As far as the Community and Economic Development Committee, I have started reaching out to some community members, business members, and elected officials. I met with Carrie Hepting. I'm meeting with Anita Ashford next week to start to talk about some of the things that they're looking for with whatever we do going forward, just to kind of form things, and then we'll bring it to this board to further discuss.
Okay, thanks, Robert. Joy, anything from your end?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Lori? Nothing here?
I'm Lisa.
Lisa, yeah.
That's all right. Nothing this evening.
Carrie?
No, Commissioner Samasco, thank you.
Yep, thank you. I apologize, Lisa.
It's okay.
Yep.
I've been
The,
called worse, Steve. It's honestly, it's okay.
There's a lot going on today
Yeah.
with me, but anyway, we'll then move on to citizens wishing to be heard. We have Gary Lokers from on the Schools Housing Commission Energy.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Gary Lokers. I live at 5650 Willow Canyon Drive. Appreciate you having me here tonight. Some issues I want to speak on. One, the Housing Commission. I've been working at the Housing Commission for the last 3 weeks. And, you know, growing up, my generation, people joke, the projects, it's kind of like a derogatory thing. But what people don't realize, the projects are just that it's a project to get people to an area where they're becoming independent, productive citizens. What I've witnessed over the last 3 weeks, we're basically babysitting children, adults. The neighborhoods are a mess. I asked some of the directors there, you know, do we have a monthly community cleanup? No, we don't do that. So it's disheartening to see, you see the kids and they're watching their parents do nothing. They're not, we're funding poverty, we're funding mediocrity. And I just wish that, I'm asking that maybe we look into something from your point of view, that we can have some accountability and some leadership within that section of housing. So we're not having third and fourth generation welfare recipients. Welfare was created for widows from World War II, and now it's become a trend where people are living off it. And that's not growth, that's not progression, it's going nowhere. So that's my first issue. Second issue, within the school district, we have an issue with disciplinarian. Kids are bullied, and the way the system is set up, if a child's bullied and they are bullied and bullied and bullied and they finally react, and maybe they're hit, so they hit back. They are disciplined just as harsh as the person that attacked them. Well, that doesn't work in the real world. If I'm attacked and I defend myself, well, then I defended myself and I'm not guilty. In the school district, we're punishing kids that have autism. We're punishing kids across the board. There's no accountability. There's just, and I don't know if it's that we don't want to upset these parents, that they'll take their kids out of the district, and we don't want to lose those bodies because we'll lose the millage per student. I don't know what it is, but there needs to be something done within the Port Huron Area School District where kids are not just allowed to run rampant. Something needs to be addressed in the homes. Hey, why are these children not being held accountable? Something needs to happen. So that's my second issue. And my third issue, I talked to Robert a few days ago. I sent him some emails. He'll probably send them to you. We have an issue in the county with sewage. We have an issue with waste. We have an issue with just waste management. 3 years ago, I was at the Marysville Beach, and out of the corner of my eye, I seen a flame. And we're burning methane gas at the Marysville wastewater plant. And we're probably creating methane gas at all these sewage plants. The emails that I sent to Robert, there are counties and municipalities all over the country. They're capturing methane gas, and they're running their buses. They're running their vehicles free from waste. And a step farther, they're taking the mass, the actual solids, and they're making biocrude. So when you think of that, we can take our waste and we can create renewable resources. We can create monetary goods from something everyone's gonna do every day. You know, you look at the program that we ran for how many other years at the landfill where we're just dumping waste all over the landfill top. We can take waste, we can create jobs, we can create revenue. If you want to talk the long game, we can make it so diverse that, let's say Robert flushes his toilet 1,000 times a year. Hey, Robert, you're gonna get a small dividend check because your waste created renewable resources, revenue, and jobs. So he'll forward the emails to you. It's very interesting. It's excellent that we can take waste and turn it into jobs and revenue. So that's what I got for you, and I appreciate you. Thanks.
We have Liz Masters, EDA Fort Gratiot Ranger.
Hi there. Thank you again for all your time. I just wanted to reach out to the board members at this time, draw attention to a FOIA discovery where EDA had been involved with Ranger Power of Fort Gratiot as late as August of 2023. Now, put that on a timeline, that's less than 2 months of the first attempt of a public hearing that Ranger Power was having for solar. I know that that was a difficult process that this board endured going through those workshops, and I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. I can see the minutes that are listed here. There was so much work that was put into that, and there was good things that did come out of that. For instance, Commissioner Samasco and Commissioner Felix turned up the history of the economics and the efforts of this county. And I just would like to draw attention to that. I would like to draw attention to the public to stay involved at this time, because now we're going to have projects in their infancy, and it's going to be so critical that these projects actually fly. Those documents that Mr. Samasco and Mr. Felix were looking into, it was the design of a system that was fair. It had the overreach, it had the oversight to see what each department was doing, and there was no power. It involved the local municipalities. So I would just like to encourage the public to stay in on that. As we're discovering with the health department is getting very involved. They're listening to the people, whether it be fluoride or whether it be solar or these battery systems. So if the public could find the time to give to our officials right now. Their ears are open, and I sincerely appreciate it, and I just would like to encourage the public to please stay involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person is Sandra Richardson regarding solar.
Good evening, Commissioners. I just wanted to thank all of you for what you are doing to reach out and, I would say, help our communities with this solar problem, and let you know how I run into different residents every week, several times a week, my husband and I, whether we're at the Myers shopping or at one of the stores, and they just want an update in our community on where we stand with this, because some of them are completely confused because they've asked to sit down with our township and have it explained, and they want nothing to do with us. So I do thank you for all that you're doing, and I let them know that you're working hard at trying to keep an eye on this project, because if you go to talk to anyone in our community, they're confused as to where we stand with this project, and they're scared because of the health and safety of our residents. So I can concur with that in my own health and inability and the stress and the loss of sleep and the anxiety. And I look out my windows in my front of my house, and you wonder how much longer you'll be able to even live in that house, and where will you go from here? So I guess with the uncertainty of what our township provides for us, and we've asked them, even after they made this decision, to sit down and talk to us about this. So I just want to thank you for all your hard work tonight. And I know patience is a virtue, and you just have to be patient, and all this government, it takes time to get through these things. So I wanted to thank you, but let you know how the residents are, pretty uncertain of where we're headed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Dawn Davy regarding CMH reappointments. Dawn Davy?
That's it.
There we go, okay.
Good evening again. Dawn Davy. I do want to kind of introduce myself. I am on the Board of Directors for the ARC of St. Clair County. I am also a member of the ARC of Michigan's Governmental Affairs Committee. I am also a board member for Community Mental Health, representing District 7. Now, tonight, you'll be discussing appointments to the board. I want to speak to the wonderful people that we already have on our board. One of them is Rosella Mirabelli. And I know that you guys have these letters in your packets, but I want to give a shout out to them and to be able to read these letters from the podium. For Rosella, she states, my past experience include being on the ARC board, Autism Speaks, and the Parent Advisory Committee for Special Needs for the Port Huron School District. She's also involved in the YMCA Hospital Foundation and a past president of Port Huron Town Hall, which has given her a broader understanding of committee work and the involvement needed to have such a successful organization. She's a parent of a son with special needs. This is from Martha. And she, in her letter, says, I am writing to request my reappointment to the St. Clair County Community Mental Health Board. This is not an appointment to receive high social status or compensation. This isn't a game. This is one of the most important advocacy assignments of my life. The birth of my sixth child, a son who happens to have Down syndrome, brought a new world of life challenges and experiences that I was previously unaware of. My son is now 33 years old and attends a St. Clair County Community Mental Health Program and resides in a CMH group home. Anthony Hessian, he has served as a member on our finance committee since its inception. It's required by the board members we have to have a certain number of members on our board who have experience with the community that we serve. And in his letter, which I seem to have lost, oh, here it is. He says, perhaps most importantly, my connection to St. Clair County Community Mental Health is personal. As someone who has benefited from mental health services myself, and as a family member of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities and substance abuse disorders, I understand the critical role that St. Clair County Community Mental Health plays in the lives of individuals and families navigating these challenges. The other that is asking for a reappointment that is already on our board is Lori Ames. She states in her letter to you, my passion for advocating for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities is deeply personal. Nearly 2 decades ago, my husband Rick and I faced an uncertain future as our adult child who had aged out of the public education system. They sought the best possible programs to support our child with continuing through his development and independence. Our search led us to a life skills program in Macomb County that we believed would be
Dawn,
exceptional.
you run out of time.
I'm up, am I?
I intentionally kind of let it, in honor of Dave Rushing not being here, I thought I'd kind of let it go.
I'm
But if you
so
could,
sorry.
that's okay, if you could
I'm so
wrap it
sorry.
up.
I kind of do these things at my own council meeting.
That's okay, just,
So I forget.
yeah, just wrap it up, thank you.
I am a parent of a 40-year-old daughter who is developmentally impaired, luckily living on her own in St. Clair County. I've worked with both, with Macomb County and St. Clair County Community Mental Health. Please, to have these appointments be anything other than people who are working for these groups, to have any appointments be political or have agendas is incredibly disappointing to me and frankly cannot happen, not with community mental health. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. You have Vicki Blackburn, Health Board.
Here again. Good evening. I just want to say that this is a really great thing, that we have more people wanting to serve than we have seats for. And I think that's really exciting. And if we can spread the word on that, get more people to step up, volunteer, be informed, all of that, that's great. I come here as an informed citizen. I come to these meetings twice a month, and I go to a lot of other city meetings. And so what I would say is that this is an opportunity as a business where you're looking at where your money is spent and the number of voters that you can affect. I would share that having seen Doug Johnson's presentation on community mental health and knowing that she supported keeping the 4 people in their seats, I think that this is a great time to celebrate when we have excellence. And if there's no reason for them not to stay in their seats, then I support her wholeheartedly in having them stay. So that would be Lori Ames, Anthony Essian, Rosella Mirabelli, and Martha Pertapillo. She stated that they had outstanding service, extensive knowledge of CMH, service on board subcommittees, and that's something where you want continuity, right? So taking someone out of a subcommittee, then that puts the committee back and you're losing money and effort. They've participated in trainings. They do have various perspectives, and the combination of folks meets the mental health code 330.1222. And I can say that I've read the board packet, I've read the applications, I've read letters of recommendation. I read all the information about everybody that's applying for these spots. And I can say that I've gotten to know some of the other people, some of the other 6. And I hope that they will stay in the game and learn as much as they can and continue going to meetings and being in line so that when and if one of these other 4 people is no longer able to serve, then at that time, I would hope that you would welcome their participation in the process. Until then, I highly support Deb Johnson and the 7,000 people that they serve. It's a lot of voters. And I say if they won their seats, they're doing a great job, then keep their seats. If there's no reason for them not to, keep their seats, and this is a chance to thank them and to uplift them. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. Next, we'll have Catherine Albright, Community Mental Health Board application.
I'm wearing good shoes tonight. Hello, Commissioners. Good evening. My name is Dr. Catherine Albrecht, and I am one of the people applying for appointment to the Board of Directors for CMH. You've already read my packet, my educational credentials, my background, and my skills, which I would love to contribute to community mental health and to St. Clair County. But there's a part that I did not include in there for reasons of my family's privacy and my own privacy that I am going to include, because this is not a political interest, this is a personal interest. I received from Christine Morris last Tuesday a letter asking me to check the box for which of the categories that I belong to. I replied actually several times and never got an answer, so it's unclear to me what services they're talking about or where those services need to be. But I'm both receiving mental health services and I am a family member of an adult son who has given me permission today to share his story. I receive mental health services at Carmanos Cancer Center in Mount Clemens because I have stage 4 breast cancer, which I have had for many years. I am no evidence of disease and cancer-free at this point, but I see a social worker because there are end-of-life issues that have dogged me for many years since I was first diagnosed. I don't know, because I never got an answer to my email, whether that counts. I don't know if it needs to be through community mental health or not, but I am a recipient of services. But for the personal story, which is painful and difficult, my adult son, who is on the spectrum, is a brilliant and very wonderful young Christian man. He had last year, about a year ago now, he was in class at SC4. He's a straight A student, and he had a mental breakdown. He has been dealing with mental health issues since my divorce in 2017. I have a restraining order for domestic violence against his father, and we have had a lot of family issues, and I don't normally talk about those publicly. In this case, he actually encouraged me to come and talk about it, because what happened to him on that day that community mental health was called, and police came, and community mental health officers came and escorted him and me to the emergency room at McLaren Hospital in Port Huron. And that was probably one of the worst days of my entire life. They took my adult son and told him that he would be talking to someone. Instead, they put him in a room that was with no furniture. It was white and actually a scary room. He was afraid. And then they said, pee in this cup. And instead of peeing in the cup, he said, where am I? What are you doing? I thought I was going to talk to somebody. 4 burly, very strong men came in and wrestled my son onto the bed and strapped him down. They then took off his belt, unzipped his pants, removed his penis, and inserted a catheter into him, and catheterized my son because he refused to pee in a cup. At this point, I was saying, please don't do this, and they escorted me away and made me leave the room for 2 hours. When I returned 2 hours later, my son, who was not a threat, had not done anything wrong, but was just experiencing trauma, his right arm was so swollen that I thought the skin would burst. There was blood on his gown. There was blood on the floor. I have photos of this. He was so drugged that he barely recognized me. And then they took him to Havenwick, and they kept him there for 2 weeks. So that's my personal experience. That's not something that I intended to share. I intended to come up here and say that because of my work on solar, my concern for the mental health of people in this community, my many interviews with people who are suffering from anxiety and stress, insomnia and sleeplessness, all of the issues that I'm here professionally to talk about were the reasons that I asked to be appointed to this board. But when this opportunity came up, my son, who has asked me for a year to please file some kind of complaint, please do something. He has suffered beyond measure from this horrible, horrible experience that should have never happened.
If you could wrap it up for us, please.
So if I have an opportunity to be on this board, I will be looking out not only for members of the community who are dealing with stress and mental anxiety over solar issues, but I will be looking out for people like my son, people like myself, victims of domestic violence, people like my sister with cerebral palsy. It goes on and on. So that's my personal story.
Thank you very much.
For letting me share it.
Thank you. So, last citizen to be heard would be Rosella Marabelli.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Rosella Mirabelli, and I currently serve as an at-large member of the CMH Board of Directors. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to express my interest and commitment to continue my service on the board for another term. I am both proud and honored to support the important work that St. Clair County CMH does in our community and welcome the opportunity to continue to contribute to its mission. I believe that my substantial knowledge and experience working on various boards related to special needs and my experience as a parent with a son with developmental and intellectual disabilities can provide a valuable perspective to the board. I have been a strong advocate and supporter of individuals with both mental illness and developmental disabilities, and working with various organizations to better help those most vulnerable. I feel it's vital to be a voice for those that are voiceless. My earliest involvement began when my husband and I moved to this community and were asked to help develop a dental clinic that would provide services for this group of individuals that were not able to access dental care. From this experience, I volunteered my time to include being on the ARC board, Autism Speaks, Parent Advisory Committee for Special Needs at RISA, as a representative of the Port Huron School District. In addition, my involvement with the YMCA Hospital Foundation and a past president of the Port Huron Town Hall has given me a broader understanding of committee work and the involvement needed to be a successful organization. My connection with CMH expanded beyond receiving services for my son when I became a member of the Recipient Rights Advisory Committee. I have been a member of this committee for the past 10 years, as well as the advisory committee at CMH, which has allowed me to better understand the organization and how it works. My strong sense of community has led me to be a strong advocate and to volunteer my time to help those unable to advocate for themselves. I was very honored when I was approached to join the board and felt this was another opportunity for me to give back to the community. I have taken the time to complete trainings available to new board members, as well as attending the various training sessions held at CMH to better understand the workings of this agency and to be the best board member that I can be. Finally, as a passionate advocate, I will continue to be an asset to CMH board. As a parent and guardian, and my years of experience and knowledge as advocating for both my son and this vulnerable population, I strongly believe in supporting CMH to continue their mission of providing services and programming to these individuals so that they can live life to the fullest. I appreciate your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Any other citizens that wish to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 11, unfinished business. Any unfinished business? Seeing none, we'll go to the back page. New business. We have a motion on item A, please.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the February 2025 county disbursements in the amount of $29,724,961.72.
Support.
We have a motion, we have support. Any discussion on item A? This will be a roll call, correct?
Yep. Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Chairperson Samasco?
Yes. Motion on B, please.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the St. Clair County Library System Maintenance Agreement for the copiers.
Support?
Motion and support. Any discussion on that one? Hearing none. Now, is this also going to be it's monetary, so that's also a roll call there. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Chairperson Samasco?
Yes. Item C.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the increase of $77,500 to the Midwest Tapes Hoopla Digital Media Agreement for the library for the remainder of the term expiring 12/31/25.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Chairperson Samasco?
Yes. Item D.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract with Overdrive, Inc. for the provision of access to digital content for a term of 3/1/25 through 12/31/28 in the amount not to exceed $1,136,840.
Support?
Motion and support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Chairperson Samasco?
Yes. Item E.
At this time, I'd like to nominate Martha Partapilo and David Hoffman for District 2 Representative, Lori Ames, Anthony Essien, Rosella Mirabelli, Catherine Albrecht, Tracy Burgee, Mary Helen Herring, Chelsea Hall, and Carol Miller for Member-at-Large Representatives for 3 positions, each for a 3-year term expiring March 31st, 2028, and to cast ballots.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? I've got a question. We just had Catherine Albright speak. Is, based on her presentation, would she be a C on that? We're going to add she's a consumer?
Yes, that would be appropriate to change that to a consumer on the ballot.
Okay, so we're going to vote.
So you're going to vote for the District 2 representative first, because the candidate not selected for District 2 would be eligible to be appointed as one of the at-large members.
Okay, and the ballot containing the 2 names, those are the 2 eligible for the District 2.
That's correct.
Anybody have any questions? And we just pick one, correct?
Yes.
Sneaky.
The majority vote goes to Martha Partapilo for District 2.
Thank you. So now, are we going to do we have to have, of the 4 appointments, we have 2 have to be consumers, correct? Is that how are we going to do those next, or how?
Yes.
Okay. A motion on that? Or do we need another motion, or no?
Nope, you already
Okay.
made the motion.
And the balance are at large, correct? And we can put a C by Catherine Albright's name, is that correct? What is that box for? Oh, I see, okay, David, okay. Gotcha.
Okay, majority vote is for Lori Ames, and then we'll have to re-vote ballots for the balance, other individuals.
So we'll pick two
Yep, two.
and one consumer.
Yes.
And we can again add for Albright a consumer, right? And add Dave Hoffman to that name. So Lori Ames is already filled, right? And I won't peek. There's no
So we do not have a candidate with 4 votes, so we can either re-vote, or you can wait till your April meeting when Commissioner Rushing is here, so we don't tie again. We have 3 candidates with 3 votes and 3 candidates, 3 other candidates, but no candidates have a majority vote of 4. So would you like to re-vote, or would you like to,
I'm good either way. I don't,
what's the pleasure of the board? We've got ballots, we can re-vote.
I guess if there's anyone, maybe I'll ask this, if anyone is inclined to change their vote, maybe we'll vote again, or if otherwise we won't.
Well, then I say we probably wait for the committee meeting.
That's fine. You want to do it for final action at committee? Can we do that? Because I know the bylaw, I had the bylaws sent to me, and they select their officers in the first meeting in April, so we should get that done. So if we could put it on for final action at committee, we can get those filled, I think. Thank you. Is everybody good with that?
If I
Okay.
may, if we could move this to the next full board meeting, I would appreciate that.
Because you're not going to be here.
Correct.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that either, certainly. I just know that I talked to Carrie about, there was some talk about perhaps Dave not being here and all that, but she encouraged me to check with Deb Johnson, say, is there any issue if we kick it down the road a little bit? And Deb had said, well, their bylaws require voting on their officers in April, so I certainly want to respect that. Let's do that, and if we need to move it, we can. Let's put it on for full board, and then we'll check with Deb Johnson. If there's some big deal, we can find a workaround on a special meeting if we have to, something, to get that done. Does that work for you?
I think that works.
Thank you, Carrie. I didn't call you Lori, I called you Carrie.
Thank
so.
you.
Next matter, Resolution 25-05, revising, go ahead, item F. Who has that?
At this time, I make a motion to adopt Resolution 25-05, revising the Indigent Defense Council rate of pay for the Public Defender's Office.
Support?
We have motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item H.
Skip G.
Pardon me?
You skipped G.
Oh, did I? Just crossed it out. I'm sorry. Item G, please.
Mr. Chair, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 26 Michigan Indigent Defense Council grant application in the amount of $4,278,485 for the Public Defender's Office.
We have a motion. You have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. We'll need any discussion on that? Roll call.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Chairperson Samasco?
Yes. Now, item H. Motion.
Mr. Chair, can I make a motion to approve the grant application for medications for opioid use disorder with the county jail in the amount of $25,000?
Support.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Chairperson Samasco?
Yes. Item item I.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement with Genoa Contracting LLC for the construction of the Parks Operations Building at the Columbus County Park in the amount of $294,500.
Support.
We have motion. We have support. Any discussion on that item? Roll call.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Chairperson Samasco?
Yes. Item J.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 25-06, approving the agreement with Premier Group Associates for the Phase 1 North Channel County Park improvements in the amount of $1,007,447.55.
Support.
We have motion. We have support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Chairperson Samasco?
Yes. Item K, please.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to approve Amendment B to the Asphalt Trucks, Inc. contract for landfill materials, increasing the not-to-exceed amount of $520,427.85.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Chairperson Smasko?
Yes. Item L.
Mr. Chair, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Thomas Hull as member representative and board of director for the County of St. Clair, Michigan, on the TEI Condominium Association with Carrie A. Hepting and Gino Gagumbu, continuing to serve as alternates.
Support.
Motion and support. Carrie, how does that work? I mean, I know what condo associations are, but how does that work? Was that reference to our convention center essentially?
Yes, so the common areas, the hallway areas have a condo association, so that pays for the bills such as lawn maintenance, snow plowing, those types of items go through the condo association.
That's why we have a seat on that, because we have the convention center.
Correct.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is item M.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2025 membership fee for the I-69 corridor, Next Michigan Development Corp. in the amount of $6,500.
Support.
We have motion and we have support. Any discussion?
I've got some discussion on that, Mr. Chair.
Bob?
The I-69 corridor project, Next Michigan Development, I've looked into that. I see that the sitting members include Mr. Dan Casey and Bruce Seymour, and also that I believe Ms. Hepting said that we would be paying the dues to the EDA at this time. I'd like some clarification and discussion on that. Where is this supported, and where does this, why are we paying it to the EDA?
So I have been able to get some more information on that. How it works in the counties is the economic development agencies in each counties have been coordinating the billing between the county and the participating communities. So it doesn't have to happen that way. We can pay directly, but they have been receiving the payments from the county, from the participating communities, and then remitting the payment. So basically, they're acting as a pass-through for the payment in that aspect. So that arrangement does not need to happen that way.
I understand that that contract requires 6 months withdrawal notice if the county was to choose to withdraw from that agreement. Is that true?
That's correct.
I had a couple things. Anybody else have any comments? This resolution 11-54 from 2011, I was seated right where Carrie was when that was passed in 2011. And it passed with 5 yeses and 2 noes, and myself and Dave Rushing were noes. I looked at it then, and I didn't vote for it because this, the way it was set up is you had the Michigan Strategic Fund, the Next Michigan Development Corporation on a state level, were allowed to form 7 of these types of entities around the state. We were the 5th one, the largest one, 32 members. And I may not have had it exactly right then, but the way it appeared to me is that when you do a Next Michigan Development Corporation like that, or in that form, as an interlocal agreement under Act 7 of 1967, the Interlocal Agreement Act, then any member can exercise the municipal authority of all the other members. So I was always worried, and that's what the debate was at the time the Tea Party was around. Jerry Frent died right in the back row here when they were debating this. He passed away. I had a heart attack, and that's how heated some of that was. I'm sure there's some people probably remember that. So my point is, I was a no then, and I'd be a no now for membership. I think we need to pay it because we have a contract. We signed a contract that said we owe the money, so I like to pay my bills. We should pay the bill. But then on the issue of withdrawal, I know there was an email came out from Dan Casey, and Corporation Counsel looked into it. You know, I'd probably be inclined to do withdraw. I wouldn't want to do that tonight. I'd want to take a look at Dan Casey's email was, that long. So I'd like to see what those issues are. But part of the reason that I didn't part of the reason I tried to get our, what I'll call the Dan Casey EDA, to work with us to be more transparent is because I saw it on a state level. And this is really largely what they do on a state level. It's part of that same systemic approach to economic development with the same type of pattern that our EDA had. So I didn't like that. I didn't like what they were doing. So I'm going to look at that. I think, we should pay the bill. I think we should then maybe either put it on for discussion or bring it up at some point, whether we give them notice on the 6 months. I do want to verify in my own mind, because I did ask Corporation Counsel if a member of the interlocal agreement could exercise authority like that group, that I-69 International Corridor and Ex-Michigan Development Corporation is what it's called. Their principal office is actually in St. Clair, Michigan. It's at City Hall. I don't know why. That's where their principal office is. And that entity is a corporate entity as such, a quasi-government entity. They can exercise authority for tax abatements and loans and all this other things that go on to financing, I think independent of a jurisdiction. For instance, if St. Clair County is a member, they can kind of operate countywide, as opposed to, say, the city of Port Huron, Marysville, St. Clair Township are all members. If we pull out the St. Clair County membership, I think that kind of activity would be limited to those municipalities that actually signed the agreement. So the Port Huron could still do it, Marysville could still do it, St. Clair could still do it, St. Clair Township could still be involved with that, but say Riley wouldn't, or Kanoke or wherever. So I just need some time to look at that. But so I would vote to say we pay the bill, and then we'll deal with whether or not we withdraw at a later time. That's my suggestion. What do you think about that?
I'm giving everybody else a chance.
I agree with Commissioner Samasco. Can I ask you a couple of questions, Carrie? Is what Steve just said true? Are those local municipalities able to continue their membership in this organization if we pulled out of it?
So that is a question that I don't believe has been fully answered if the county withdraws. There is a process if a city or a township withdraws. However, I don't know that if a county withdraws, if the cities can still belong. Corporation Counsel hasn't answered that question yet, so I'm unclear.
I would just point out, Carrie, I looked at the statute, and they describe members as a municipality, which is either a city, a township, a village, or a county. Those are the four things. So I just thought, well, they're listed separately in the definitions. It didn't say, the county subgroup of something else. It just said municipalities can join together under this interlocal agreement, to do this type of activity. So but I'm not sure myself, and I've been practicing law for 40 years, so I'd have Fletcher look at it. That's why, we'll pay our bill. I think we owe the money. We have a contract. You pay the bill. You owe the money, you pay the bill. It's that simple. But if we want to pull out, I think there's room for some discussion there on where we go with that, and I just want to make sure I know what I'm doing. That's all.
Carrie, what is an LDFA?
That's a tax capture district, local development finance authority.
How does a district get approval to be an LDFA?
So I believe the law had changed, so no new LDFAs are allowed to be formed unless you're a part of this type of organization. So if Port Huron Township wanted to create a new LDFA, they would not be able to outside of this mechanism.
And if we withdrew from this organization, we too would be prohibited from being an LDFA ever again. Is that right?
So typically at the county level, it's not something we would do. It's something that happens at the local level. So the county wouldn't create one, a city or a township would.
Carrie, on that, don't we approve, like, let's say a municipality wants to do an LDFA for a certain project. I think it comes to the county for approval, right, or no?
No, those tax abatements would be approved at that local level, not by the county.
Go ahead, Carrie.
What's the advantage to being an LDFA, in a nutshell, if you could?
It allows you to capture taxes for a project. And the next Michigan Development Corporation, it allows you to capture school taxes, so the repayment is faster.
See, what they get to do is they get to define an area. They say, okay, this is our LDFA area. Then all of the increase in value within that area is then used to utilize some of that financing, but it does qualify you for the state various types of financing and incentives and that type of thing. So it's a bit complicated. I mean, that I don't fully understand it myself.
So without this organization, the county is not an LDFA, according to the state statute. Is that accurate?
I don't believe we do not have any local district finance authority on the county level, right? We don't have anything like that.
No, that's correct. We wouldn't have one at the county level.
And there are
A
a few
local
there-
municipality would create
There's 2 or 3 in
one.
Port Huron I'm familiar with. There's some around, I think they're around. I think Magna was a good example of that. We did an LDFA for their purchase of the $700,000. Was that an LDFA?
Yep, the city of St. Clair created one for
So what
that.
they did was Magna wanted to expand their plant and they needed money to purchase some properties. So they did an LDFA to get money together to pay and then be reimbursed. What happens is you're reimbursed over the years of the taxation to pay that loan back. So like the $700,000, this was like 3 years ago, we're getting paid back, but I understand we haven't really got even much interest back yet, right? Is that,
I believe the repayment, the interest is just starting.
okay. So what it does, it allows you to finance something, jumpstart it, and to get paid from a tax capture over the length of the local development finance authority program that's been approved by the municipality. And I thought we reviewed them on a county level, but maybe not.
No, and that is the city of St. Clair's created that LDFA. That is not the county's.
Without the LDFA, would the Magna plant have been able to come here and establish its operations here?
That's not for me to say. I do believe that was a big part of the project, though.
That whole project was driven a lot by specialty financing, tax recapture, those kinds of things. So whether they could have done it, on their own, who knows, but they didn't have to, because they were able to get people and municipalities involved in incentives and that kind of thing. So, but that was an integral part. I know Mr. Fletcher had suggested a couple meetings ago that that's the reason we had the I-69 International Corridor next to Michigan Development Corporation, was to facilitate the Magna. And that was, that was there were people involved with that, the EDA, our board chair, all that, the city of St. Clair Township, that was all part of that, I think.
Through the history of having this program, how many times have we utilized it?
Just once for the Magna project.
How many people does Magna employ? Just a rough estimate.
Yeah, boy, I believe close to 1,000.
Close to 1,000 people.
Right now, they're retooling. I know a lot of the people are working 3 days a week and taking a vacation to get a $40-hour paycheck, because they have to retool due to something going on with the green energy stuff, and they're a battery frame builder, and they got to retool to something else now because some of that's fallen apart. But they're a major employer down there, for sure.
In the entire county, major employer. Is that accurate to say, Carrie?
Yes.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions. I agree with Steve. I think we should vote on paying the bill now and talk about what we're going to do about the rest of it later.
Bob, would you have any discussion on that? Or?
Do you have anything, Dave, before? Okay, thank you. I believe the county needs to pay the bill. St. Clair County keeps its obligations, so I would honor that by agreeing to pay the bill tonight. However, I've looked into this Next Michigan Corp. Individual communities can and will join it and exercise the right to bring that tax capture into their community. Whether Magna could have done it or not is speculation. Going forward, I see it as being an issue of local control. If the county's in this, it allows this organization to work throughout the county with or without municipality agreement. So I would very much be in favor of discussing that further, withdrawing from it. But at this point, as I say, the county pays their bills.
If I'm not incorrect, Carrie, if Bob wanted to discuss that formally as a board item, we could ask it to be put on for committee at some point for discussion and go forward with that.
Yep, absolutely.
Any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Roll call, roll to pay the fee to the I-69 corridor membership fee.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Chairperson Samaska?
Yes. Next item is MN, as in Nancy.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the subrecipient agreement with Yale Schools to hire an architect for renovation plans for the current Yale Adolescent Health Center location in the amount of $30,000.
Second.
Motion second. Do you have any discussion, questions? Roll call?
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes?
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Chairperson Smasko?
Yes. Item O.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the maintenance agreement with Thermalnetics for boiler maintenance at the Intervention Center in the amount of $12,137 for a term of April 1st of '25 through March 31st of '26.
Support.
We have a motion, we have support, any discussion? Roll call?
Can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
So if we enter into contract with these guys, I know we had an issue with the boiler system. It was kind of an emergency call. So I think we used Watson's, somebody local. Are we able to still do that, or do we have to wait for this company to come in?
So this company is going to do our annual preventative maintenance and treatments. So emergency repairs we'll still be able to do.
Thank you.
Anything else? Roll call?
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Chairperson Smasko?
Yes. Item P.
Mr. Chair, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve a change order in the amount of $27,985 for city elevator to acquire additional materials and implement the necessary modifications to complete the refurbishment of the gray elevator at the St. Clair County Courthouse.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion or questions? Carrie, I've got a question. You know, we switched elevator companies because of the issues that the first company had in failing to complete the repairs in a workmanlike manner, timely and so forth. And then we had that issue with the hydraulic pump that gave out in the orange elevator. And that appeared to me to be related to basically bad or, misfeasance on part of the prior operator. And it was like $30-something thousand to fix it. Did we ever look at like trying to recoup that, or is this at all related to that? Because I know this is for the gray elevator, but it just seems like if this is the gray elevator, is that something that wasn't done, or did we not get all our parts when we gave them the broom and then we got the new people?
So these are parts that were not included in the initial, when the first vendor ordered the parts. These parts were not as part of what they had spec'd out.
Was there ever any interest in looking at that issue that on the hydraulic motor on the orange elevator?
So there is still work on the orange elevator that will need to be completed. However, we want to get the gray elevator up and operational before we start to pursue that a little bit more.
Okay. Let's see, this is, any other discussion or questions? Roll call?
Commissioner Felix?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Angie?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Chairperson Smasko?
Yes. Item Q.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to credit Gary Weiss for 20 years of service for benefit and pension calculations.
Support.
You have motion, you have support. Any discussion on this?
I just want to indicate, I don't know if Mrs. Weiss is in the audience today. Unfortunately, she's not with us, but I just want to say what a privilege it is to vote on this kind of a motion. As a former assistant prosecuting attorney who spent my career in law enforcement, my brother is an Oakland County Sheriff's deputy who's assigned to the midnight shift in the city of Pontiac. My father-in-law is a former sheriff's deputy. My husband is a career law enforcement. It's a privilege and a blessing to be able to vote on this type of thing and honor Mr. Weiss and his years of service.
Thank you, Carrie. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item R.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the policy on policies and approve the revisions to policy 336, paid time off.
Questions or comments?
I'll support.
Questions or comments? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item S.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 25-07, authorizing Carrie Hepting, Administrator Controller, Thomas Hall, Deputy Administrator Controller, and Dina Alderdice, Financial Director, as authorized signatures for County of St. Clair.
Support?
Motion and support. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item T.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2508, ratifying the collective bargaining agreement with the Friend of the Port Employees Union, TPOAM.
Support?
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item U.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 25-09, ratifying the collective bargaining agreement with District Court Employees Union, AFSCME 1518.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item V.
Mr. Chair, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 25-10, ratifying the collective bargaining agreement with the St. Clair County Bailiffs Association, TPOAM.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Administrators report.
You'll notice on this month's agenda, we changed the format for the administrator's report. There is a written report on your agenda this month, and going forward, there will be. That way, it's on there for the public to see the updates. That way, somebody doesn't have to go back through, watch the video to see what the report is, and it's there. We'll also be starting to post them on the website, on the Administrator Controllers page. As part of this, we want to track the board's goals and objectives and the different items we're working on towards those, so you can see what's being done and what's being completed. So if there's certain items that you would like to see on here on a monthly basis, please let me know. One thing to note on here, I did send you all an email regarding SEMCOG. They will be here at the April committee meeting to give a presentation regarding their services, particularly around what they're able to do in regards to economic development. The county has been a longstanding member, and as part of our dues, they do offer economic development services. So I thought it would be a good time to bring them in and see what they're able to do for us as the county's looking at changing what we do. If anyone has any questions of what's on here, I can go over that, but we provided updates on some of our different capital projects, where we're at with some website upgrades and just some upcoming dates.
Feel any compulsion to do like a honorable mention or anything, a recap? Or I'm looking at your report. Do you think it's worth, saying anything on those occasionally, or just do the report?
No, I can go through it if you like.
Well, don't go through it, but I mean, maybe in the future, just if there's something that's going to pop out at people, something, honorable mention on something. I get it. I think it's a good idea. I just wanted to give you a chance to, if you wanted to talk about any of the items or.
I think of note, the opioid advisory committee, for some of the new commissioners, when we received our opioid funds, an internal advisory committee was formed. And one of the items we have been working on is an in-county treatment program. That's one of the gaps that was identified by the committee, that there are no in-county treatment services. So anybody that needs those services has to leave the county for it. So we did issue an RFI to see what it would take to bring those services in the county. The committee is currently reviewing those proposals, and we will be bringing something to you possibly in May to see what that looks like.
Okay.
Hey,
Thanks.
Carrie, who's the committee composed of?
We have department heads from the courts, the sheriff's office. We have all the judges participate. How the committee was formed is when we first joined in on the class action suit, all the departments that were harmed by the opioid epidemic basically had to answer all the different interrogatories. Here's all of the data, here's how our operations are impacted by that. So those are the departments we started with, and we brought them together as these funds came in to see how we can spend them to enhance our operations and address needs in the community. And then as that happened, it's expanded a little bit. We've brought in representation from Region 10, where a lot of the substance abuse funds flow in through the county, and they're a wealth of information. So we have public health, we have public safety, we have the court system represented.
Thank you.
And those are restricted funds, right? That's be a separate restricted fund balance someplace?
Yeah, those funds are in a special revenue fund, and they have to be used for opioid treatment, prevention, education. It's outlined in the settlement how they have to be used.
And that's contained in our annual financial documents, covers all that.
Yes, that's in our annual audit.
Any other questions or comments?
I would just like to say that I'm glad that there's no spongy moth treatment needed this year. That will be a relief to our constituents and to us.
I never met a spongy moth I didn't like.
Well, your constituents sure met some they didn't like.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. I guess the next item is, where we at here? What did I do with that? Awesome.
14.
There we go. Miscellaneous business, hearing none. 15, receive and file. Motion?
At this time, I'd make a motion to receive and file the packets that were sent to the commissioners, packets at their places, and any other information presented.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. 16 has been removed, so 17 will be a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. We are adjourned.